Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, by now, a lot of you guys have seen the Jordan Peterson and Pierre Poilievre interview. My goodness, just on Jordan Peterson's or the channel alone, it's got 1.6 million views. There's been a lot of eyeballs on this interview. And what's great is also there will be American or international eyeballs on this. And it's kind of finally talking about Canada and Canadian politics and what's going on here. And with some interest in long form podcast. And it's important. It's really important now with Trump taking office soon and our country crumbling. It is important on the world stage just to show that we do have somebody that can handle the pressure and that has the brains and the smarts to handle what's coming. Now, before we get all lovey-dovey with Pierre, as we all are, like most, of course, we want him to come in. This is it. That's it. I don't want anybody else, but I want to see him. It's, not everything he does, we're going to agree with. There are policies probably that we don't agree on. And you know what? Like with every love affair, it's got to come crashing down. But then you build up and then they come down. Like the news cycle will take you down, right? And the podcast cycle is doing that too, going up and going down, going up and going down. So that's what's going to happen. Right now he's on up. He's on an upward trajectory. We need this guy. So up. We want him to go up. But as soon as he gets in, there's going to be something in the news. We'll kick him down a bit and then he'll come up and then kick him down. That's just what I see. The thumbnail of this video was the apple was a nice touch, right? And, that's the first thing I noticed. I know this might sound weird, but on the two shot, they had the glasses of water, which I always keep my eye on glasses of water because I get so thirsty when I'm doing things. And I know that Jordan Peterson, I've seen him do many interviews where he needs to drink water, even the Kathy Ryan one. And the one, there was one in Australia where he completely ran out of water and he was looking at his glass like this and it was empty. And I got a water thing. I really do. Like if I'm thirsty, I need to drink. I was thrown out of global news because I was drinking water. That was the last day that I ever went in there. That was the day after that, they soon fired me. Anyway, getting back to the two shot, if these podcasts go very long, right? So I can imagine people get hungry. So maybe you want, I don't know, cheese and crackers or like, I don't know, some sort of charcuterie or something like that. But there was an apple. And I was like, who has an apple during an interview? Oh, yeah, Pierre does.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess.
You're guessing.
I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing, I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, I
don't really believe in that.
Okay. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians.
That's so good. That's just so funny. I just love seeing politicians or anybody handling journalists like that because he's not an experienced journalist. You can tell. If anybody knows who he is, let me know. I'll try and talk to him. He's probably in therapy right now, but he's not. I don't recognize him. I don't know who he is. I don't know if it's newspaper or radio or wherever he's from, but he totally bungled that interview. And if he didn't get fired for that, I don't know. There is no justice in this world. But anyway, I did notice the apple on the two shot and I thought that was hilarious. And I kind of thought, is that a little homage to apple eating? Is that kind of like a little nod to that video? Probably not. I'm probably thinking too much about it. But I just want to bring up, I've talked in quite a few videos recently, is particularly the ski hill lady that told Trudeau where to go. I've done a couple of videos and I talked a lot about narcissism and this is what I think Trudeau has, although it's hard to tell what drives his idiotic decisions or what gets him to stick in so much. You have to be a little bit narcissistic to be like this, to have no humility at this point, right? Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. And they need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. Yeah, this is very true. It's like it's based on that Greek mythology about Narcissus who fell in love with his own reflection to his own demise, that type of thing. But it is true. You don't really care about other people's feelings, and you don't care to make things right. And even if you do give a little bit of a sorry, it's like, well, you should be over this by now. We're moving on. And what's the big deal? This doesn't affect me. So what's the big deal? Which is funny because someone in government should really be an empath. If you're going to do that type of job, you should really be the type of person that actually does really care about people, not the type of person that cares about your own pension, your own security. You should have integrity. You should be able to call out things and walk away from things. Well, not walk away, stand up and fight for the things that are right. That's what we want to see in politicians and in people in positions of power. I don't want to see a money hungry, money grubbing, money wasting idiot that doesn't know anything, that just believes and parrots all the lines that they're fed and goes with that. And I think that's like what the whole Liberal Party is. Okay. Here's a clip of Jordan talking specifically about narcissism.
Exactly. And so Trudeau brought a bunch of people in who were so radically left that they left the NDP in the dust, essentially. And they've been running the country on false pretenses for 9 years. And if you ally that with the fact that Trudeau is clearly, he clearly has narcissistic personality characteristics and runs the country, I think, as a testament to his own grandeur. It's something like that. And one of your caucus members recently stood up in the House and I think listed something approximating 60 scandals. I mean, I've been scandalized by that because my observation, I've been watching the Canadian political landscape for, 5 decades, and the Trudeau government has skated through at least a half a dozen scandals that under normal circumstances would have provoked an honorable government to resign.
Absolutely. Like the Arrive scam, Arrive Can, the whole COVID bull, the SDTC thing, the NSICOP thing, the We Charity thing, the on and on, all the redacted documents going back and forth, and the foreign interference, and all the horrible, the immigration, and all the lack of housing, lack of jobs, the foreign workers program, all the homeless people everywhere. Like, not only just the problems that we have in this country, but also the scandals. What Jordan was talking about, the scandals would bring anybody else to the ground back in the day. But he just skates through la-di-da, like, no, nothing to see here. What? You got a problem? There's no problem. Like that. So there's no shame. There's no humility. There's no embarrassment, where none of us could go to work and screw up our normal, regular jobs to the extent that the government screws up their jobs. And our stupid idiot liberal government just walks around like with like peacocks, like this peacock, like with their head held high. You should be hanging your head in shame. Actually, I love my peacock, so I'm not dissing that. But anyway, moving on. I think that is just such an important interview for Canadians to watch, because we should be an economic superpower. If we are this resource rich in this country, then we should be smarter at utilizing that. We should be as rich as Saudi Arabia or something like that, or the UAE, or what something like that. You know what I mean? Like these Middle Eastern countries that we're like oil dependent on. Why are we doing that? It's the stupidest thing. I've thought that for 20 years. If we have this much oil and fuel and resources or minerals or whatever we have, why do Canada should be a superpower. Canada should be a totally rich country, not like the Congo. Like we're like the Congo.
Same goes for our resource sector. I mean, why is it that we're still importing oil when we've got the world's third biggest supply? Why is it we can't export our natural gas overseas?
You mean like to Germany and Japan, even when they ask?
Exactly.
And are offering multi-decade contracts at distressed prices because they're so desperate for energy, right? And we can't make a business case for that, famously.
So these kinds of things were talked about in this Jordan Peterson interview. I think it's important for all Canadians to watch. And before I leave you, I just want to say one more thing. Please do not forgive Chrystia Freeland. Sometimes people are saying Chrystia Freeland's going to throw her hat in the ring. Chrystia Freeland was buddy and side by side with Trudeau until the bitter end. And she did not do right by Canadians because she's the big bank account freezer, along with all the other horrible things that she did in this government. And the only reason that she turned her back on Trudeau is because it affected her. Because he said, you need to step aside now. We're going to give your job to someone else. And once it affected her, so she's probably also a narcissist. She was like, I'm not having this. I'm stepping out. I'm out. So once it affected her and her life, then she stepped out. And then people are sort of almost, she got a standing ovation or something. It's like, no, don't be too nice to that woman. And don't put her on a high horse. And don't say, oh, she finally did the right thing. Her stepping down kind of helped the liberals crumble more. But don't forget, she only stepped down because of herself, because of her own selfish reasons. If Trudeau just kept her and was, they were two still working in cahoots together, she wouldn't have stepped down at all. It's only because it affected her. Rant over. Everybody, it's time to eat some fruit, have an apple, have some sangria. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you to Jordan Peterson and Pierre Poilievre for making the content. And if you like my content, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this video today and listening to me rant and rave. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.